Kimberly, welcome, of course, Tara and Mark and Boyd and Deneen. I'm going to go ahead and bring Deneen on because we are going to get her connected ASAP to make sure she's ready for the start. And then we're going to flow through because we're going to respect your time because we said we would. Soon as Deneen is added, let me give you a little background. The Boss Leadership Institute is built on leaders who believe that change is inevitable. They want to be there. They want to be connected, the whole nine. So it's essential that we have them. Thank you, Pastor Robert Ellis, for joining us. Man, long time no see, my friend. Hopefully you and your family are blessed and you're doing good. So we're going to stick to our schedule and try to maintain our flow. I have several different leaders who are going to be on this call tonight. So what I want to do is make sure we navigate our time appropriately to ensure that they are connected. And so in getting them connected, I want to make sure I'm able to pull them in and make sure that they can speak. So we might have some technical stuff, but as leaders, we know how to grind and work through stuff. So we're not worried about that. We're just going to keep it moving and flowing like we always do. So let's start off with where we are. Where we are is the Boss Leadership Institute is preparing for the Inspired and Empowered Conference that's coming up in Florida on October the 20th. And then we're going to do a conference also in Atlanta on November the 10th. So first up, so we thought it would be awesome to get leaders from different segments of society, men, women, completely different experiences, and bring them on board and share some crazy, powerful, insightful, challenging nuggets with all of you who are leaders so that we can sharpen each other. Now, if you're not a Bible scholar, don't worry about it. There's a scripture that talks about iron sharpening iron. What that simply means is if you're rugged and you're iron, we can still sharpen you. If you're dull, but you're an iron, we can still sharpen you. It doesn't matter because we sharpen one another. And the goal is to get to a place where as leaders, we're not nicking, cutting, stabbing, or jabbing people. We are supporting, encouraging, strengthening, and developing people. And that's what it's all about. So here is your boss nugget. So tonight, this week's nugget for this Tuesday night is all about the importance of having a mentor or a coach. Why does that matter to a leader? So first up, we have the incomparable Deneen K. Attard. She's a life coach. She's a spiritual life coach. She's a professional in the academic realm. She's a college dean. She brings with her an arsenal of information based upon experience, based upon credentials, based upon interviewings, based upon her pilot teams, based upon pastors and ministers, based upon leaders and advisors, based upon... So her arsenal is really, really full. And we want to hear from her. So we're going to start this off right off the bat. So Deneen, welcome to not only the Boss Leadership team, but to tonight's Boss Nuggets. How you doing? Say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here. How's everyone doing? Send me some love in the chat box. Nate, thanks so much for having me to be a part of this.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love connecting with leaders. I love spending time with leaders. I love building with leaders. And the best way to do that is to just step out and connect and invite them. So Deneen, with all your experience, with all of your years of wisdom, with all of your exposure to different leaders and peoples from different cultures and different lifestyles even, my question and my targeted question to you is, why is coaching for spiritual leaders important? Let's start there. We have some pastors and some ministers and some folks on this call. Some CEOs are on this call. Some entrepreneurs are on this call. Some women bosses are on this call. Some men bosses. But let's target specifically spiritual leaders. And given our day and time, let's talk about why it's important for spiritual leaders to understand the impact of coaching and mentoring.
Wow, that's a loaded question. First off, I want to say that the information that I'm going to share, whether you're a minister or not, these tools will apply. First off, if you're a minister, you are dealing with a lot of emotional charge from your congregation, from those that you are leading. your family life. You're trying to find a balance. And by having a coach, you're using wisdom. Because number one, you're bringing someone in that has a different perspective. They're going to feed into you, see things that you are too close to it to see. They're going to provide you with accountability. Because we all know that when you're in a leadership role, whether it be in the church or outside of the church, people tend to tell the leader what they think the leader wants to hear. You could be on a project and it's going downhill and everyone is going to say, oh, Pastor, great job. Reverend, great job. But in actuality, things need to change. So that coach is going to give you some accountability. Also, if you are dealing with a coach, the coach is going to give you clarity. We all know that ministers are juggling multiple hats when it comes to being a pastor. Sometimes they're everything from the janitor to the pastor, everything in between, depending on where they are in building their congregation. So they need that type of clarity. A coach is going to make you hone in. For example, you might say, I want to help everyone. That in theory sounds very good. And in prayer, you can do that. But what does that look like physically on paper? A coach is going to say, what type of people do you want to help? What is your end goal that you want to accomplish? Who do you want to serve? And what resources do you need to get it done? Thirdly, your coach is going to empower you. We all know that your empowerment comes from the Holy Spirit. It comes from God. It comes from above, which is why I also recommend that if you are a spiritual leader, that you have a coach that has some spiritual, godly foundations so that they can coach you according to God's word. Because what we don't want to happen is that people go off track and they say, oh, I'm my own God. The divinity in me serves me. No, it is God above that serves us, that helps to meet our needs. So we've got accountability, we've got clarity, and we have an empowerment. The final one is direction. Where do you start? What do you do? Your coach is going to be there not to give you a written plan, but to guide you, to help you bring out what's inside of you regarding your goals and your aspirations and show you how you can go about accomplishing those things.
Listen, if y'all are not taking notes, if you're not sitting down with some tea, a cappuccino, some coffee, some juice that you made in the house, or just your fruit punch or grape Kool-Aid, whatever you got, you need to be sitting down listening to this. One thing about leadership is that it's real and it's in your face. It's not sugar-coated. The people that are faking leadership are the ones who are in problems right now. But the people that are real and dealing with the systemic issues of society, they're the ones who are in the trenches. Deneen, thank you. You shared some key things. You talked about accountability. You talked about clarity. You talked about being empowered. And you talked about direction. Spiritual leaders, you need a coach. You need a mentor. Sometimes, and Deneen, you said it, sometimes we are so close to a situation, we can't see, smell, or even understand what's going on. But if you have a mentor or a coach, they can pull your shirt collar and say, yo, step back. You are not seeing the real view of this. And that's what Deneen brought to us. Deneen, that was awesome. One more thing I want to add that you put in there, you talked about specificity. You talked about you have to be detailed. The coach is going to say why, how, what, when, where, what's your time frame. That's how the coach is going to move.
That's true.
That's how the coach will help. Deneen, thank you so much. Do you have anything to add before I just jump to Tara, who's going to talk about, leaders in general and what they need as a coach?
I just want to add one more very important thing. As leaders, whether you be in ministry or corporate America, sometimes pride stops us from reaching out and getting some assistance. This is not a time to be prideful. This is a time to go about God's business. And if you need some extra help, lay your pride aside, call up a coach after you've done your research and determine that's the person that you want to work with. That's the way you move forward.
Awesome. Listen, you guys who are on the call, keep that chat information coming. We love it. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. We want to make sure we have time for you. Lady Deneen Attard, thank you for joining us, you boss leader. And we look forward to seeing you at the Boss Leadership Conference that's taking place here in Florida on October the 20th. Stay connected, but we're going to let you zero out, and we're going to bring in Tara Uden, who's going to talk about some more factors as it relates to leaders. Thank you so much, Deneen.
Thank you so much. See you.
Absolutely. So, leaders, Deneen has talked about the concept of being a coach for spiritual folks and making sure they can do it and get connected. And Deneen, X yourself out so that way you stay connected to the program. But what we're going to do now is we're going to transition. So I'm going to pull in Tara Uden, and we want to talk about coaching for leaders. So let me ping Tara, and let me get her in real quick. And let's see where she is. Let's add Tara to the team and see if she's able to ping on in there. Tara, did you get my check? I'm trying to bring you in because I know you have some wisdom to add. You guys, as we look at bringing in Tara, I want to make sure I add her. So y'all hold tight while the brother works on this. All right, so I'm going to pull Tara in after. Let me jump right to Mark. I'll jump right to Mark real quick. Since Mark is already on, let me add him to the camera. Tara, we're going to come back to you. We're going to swing back around to you. We're going to jump right to Mark. Mark Wiggins, a.k.a. the Speaker Man. Mark's background is detailed. He does a lot of youth development coaching, youth leadership coaching, bringing them in the whole nine. So Mark, we are glad you are with us, sir. We have some questions that are pointed directly to you as well. My brother, welcome. You are a boss leader. We're glad you're on the team. Mark, I want you to greet the people before I pose any questions to you. The floor is yours.
What is up, everybody? What's up, brother Nate? What's going on down in Florida? Hi to all the people who joined in on the call tonight. That first round was off the chain. I appreciate you having us on tonight to talk about this thing with leadership and coaching and young people. We often forget our young people. It's an area that I focus in a lot on, especially with athletes and whatnot. But I know we're talking more than just the athlete. But we're going to talk about that, and I got some points for you because you only gave me, unfortunately, 5 minutes. What is that about, Nate? For real, for real.
Hey, we got to respect the people's time, brother. Everybody got to follow leadership. We all got to do this.
I need you to follow the leadership as well, because we know you're going to go about 7 minutes. But go ahead, we're ready to get started.
Let's move. So here we go. Mark is our comic relief. Mark, here's your pointed question. The question for you is, why is coaching or mentoring important for youth who consider themselves leaders, from athletic to academic? Boom, the floor is yours, brother.
Thank you, brother Nate. Here's what I think we miss sometimes when it comes to coaching our young people, is that they need to have the standards and things set before them so they can become better leaders down the road. They already have the initiative. They want to be there. They're looking for opportunity, and they need people to help guide them safely through this maze. You know, depending on where you are with your young people, putting them in positions to fail is no different than putting your people at work in positions to fail. A boss leader does not put people in position to fail because they understand the people that they're working with. So as a boss leader and you need a mentor, you're working with young people, if you're not taking time to figure out who they are at core, at base, then it's going to be hard to put them in situations to lead. And so that is one of the things that boss leaders have to do. So as you know, when I give my talks, Brother Nate, I got points. And I got 3.5 quick points to give you to help you become a better mentor leader to youth and be a boss. The first thing is, number one, is teach them how to set attainable and realistic goals. That's part of the SMART formula, if you know what I'm talking about. But I always focus on attainable and realistic. Sometimes the goals that they want to set are here, but their talent skill may be here, or they haven't been exposed yet. So it's a setup for failure. But setting realistic goals will help them get the confidence they need to go get that big goal. I'm not saying don't set it. I'm just saying be realistic about where they are. Same thing as with your job as well. Help them set realistic goals. The two, it teaches them, coaching young people as a mentor coach, you teach them how to hold themselves accountable to themselves. You teach them how to be accountable to them. Because at the end of the day, if I have to look in the mirror and answer questions about how Mark did and I lie to me, well, I really can't lie to me because I know what happened. But if I say enough falseness long enough, I'll believe it. So be accountable to oneself is the start. And I'll teach them how to be accountable to everything else that they do. And as a mentor and as young leaders you're dealing with, that is huge. It's a huge habit to have. Number three, having a mentor coach or being a coach to young people, you get to speak life into them. You get to speak life into them. You get to give them, as Nate's nuggets of wisdom, everybody else's nuggets of wisdom to help them go along the way. Meet them where they are. Don't you understand that they're already getting piled on negatively from every else thing around them? There is a formula. I've done it before. It's not this formula, but there is a formula that actually will calculate how many negative affirmations we will say on ourselves over a 10-year period. It's somewhere in the 250,000, 300,000 range with just 2 negative affirmations an hour. We know we do more than that. So helping as a coach someone to speak life to counter this negativity, mostly from within, so they can be a little bit more positive. Here comes the point 5. Why should you have a mentor situation for your young person, or why you should be one? Because they're tired of hearing their parents' voice.
Wow.
They tired of hearing you. When you say, I don't understand why you didn't get this done. Like, if you're in a game, I'm gonna use athletes. You're in a game and you're in the stands yelling at your kid because they made a mistake. It sounds like, why isn't the homework and the trash done? Because that's all you said all last week. They don't hear you. I'm not saying your message is not valid, not saying what you're trying to impart in them is not valid. They just don't hear you. Another voice, another angle, another position, and they're still delivering the same message. And you should want that from your youth mentor, youth leader. If you're trying to be a boss leader to young people, you are that secondary, tertiary voice to that young person. Your message will line up with their parents. They aren't listening now, but they'll hear it later. And they're going to say, my coach told me. But later on, they're going to go, well, I actually heard that at home. So those are the 0.5, 3.5 things that you need to help be a boss leader for young people and help your young people become better leaders. Everybody say better. Better. All right, Nick, I'm done.
Hey, Mark, stay right there, speaker man. Listen, recap what Mark said. Y'all, this was powerful. Set obtainable and realistic goals. Most of us who are professionals have used the SMART template. Mark mentioned that. If you don't have the SMART template, we can get it to you. Already laid out, you can just plug it in. We have a template for that. It's a worksheet to use the SMART template. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-related goals. Real easy. Hold themselves accountable. You need to hold themselves accountable so that they know what's going on. Mark, these are excellent points, even for the adult leaders, not just for the youth leaders. Speak life into them. And I saw some chat going in. Shalise is already, she's blowing it up. She's put in there, listen, I know that that's accurate. So Shalise is on it. And then you said, make sure to have point. They're tired of hearing their parents' voice. That's powerful. For those of us who have kids, we can relate to that because we sound just mundane to our kids over and over. Mark, any more tidbits you need to add? Because this is absolutely excellent. Anything else?
This last tidbit, listen, as you're working with your young people, allow them the opportunity. This is crucial. This could be the other point. Allow them the opportunity to go on this journey themselves. You can't take them everywhere. You done brought them to everything, drug them to church, you drug them to the thing. At some point in time, they need to lead where they want to go, and you need to be the fan club in the back and say, I'm here for the ride. Let them have their journey. Be there for the counsel, but don't be there to do it all for them. They're going to fall a little bit. They're going to bump a little bit. Make sure they fall safely. Sometimes they're going to have to crash and burn. But guess what? If you're right there to support team, they'll appreciate what they have learned on their own and put together the things that you have poured into them over time.
Amazing. Awesome. Yo, Mark, the speaker man Wiggins, we appreciate you being here. Don't go anywhere. Just X yourself out. Stay on the call. I'm going to bring in Tara right now because Tara's going to talk about coaching for leaders in general and what that means. Thank you so much, Mark. So team, thank you guys for what you're adding in. Andrea, thank you for joining and connecting. We are going to try to pull in. Let me look for Tara. I'm trying to look for her. There she go. Let me add her right now. So Tara Uden is coming on board. Tara has years and years of experience with working with leaders in high-level administrators and CEOs and founders of organizations and directors and executors and executives. So her information, she's been close to the vest. She's been right in there with the difficult conversations, the hard decisions, the hirings, the firings, she's been a part of all of that kind of stuff. So her perspective is going to hit leaders right where they are because leaders sometimes miss the mark because they're too emotional. And Tara's going to talk about the realistic part of it. Tara, boss woman, thank you for joining us, Songbird.
How are you? Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to see Miss Annie and Chelsea and some other folk on here. Hey, Nate, I hope you keep my question to what it is because I worked hard on my question.
Hey, coaching for leaders. We are not even going to hold it up. Tara, the floor is
Okay.
Talk to us about coaching for leaders and why it's necessary.
Well, here's what you gave me specifically, and this is why I really want to talk about it. You said, why is coaching important for women leaders in a male-dominant society? So I want to stay on that because I think it's really key that you asked me that, because I am so heavy into looking into politics and women that are starting to pursue politics, and you'll see more than ever, you'll see more women getting involved in politics. So I got three. So I'm going to give you three reasons, but I want to tell you three reasons why this was an important question. Why is coaching important for women leaders in a male-dominant society? Stacey Abrams is running for public office. If she wins, she'll be the country's first Black governor. That's number one, right? Chrissy Houlihan, she was a Navy veteran running for the U.S. House of Representatives. She challenged a Republican and he dropped out. So he disappeared. And then Michelle Lujan Grissom is a congresswoman, and she is a part of the Hispanic Caucus chair. She's running for governor, and if she wins, she'll be the first Democratic woman to lead a state. So why that's so key, why coaching is important for women leaders in a male-dominant society, is because women in leadership advance cultural change, and they bring balance. Women bring balance. So in a male-dominant society, though, women's voices tend to be a little bit silenced, right? We don't have as loud of a voice as men because this country is run by men. Some of the majority of organizations are run by men. So women don't think they have a voice. They don't think that they have as much value. They know it, but they need a coach to help cultivate that. So a coach would help cultivate their confidence, help them recognize their value, and it would help develop their voice. Forbes magazine said that women make up 47% of the workforce, but guess what? They only make less than 5% of CEOs and high-ranking positions. There's something wrong with that when this country is women are, dominate demographically more than men as far as numbers. So how can you have us make up 47% of the workforce, but we only make less than 5% of high-ranking positions? That has to change. Our culture has to change. Women bring that other balance, that perspectives. Men can't think of everything. So I believe our leadership is lopsided until we get a woman's perspective. We factor in things that men just don't consider. We are nurturers. We see things about women and children that men just don't see. That's not a slight against the men. It's saying that men need the balance. Even God himself said, men, it's not good for them to be alone. Amen. Right. So they need a woman to help bring them balance. So what I came to the conclusion is three things. God created women differently on purpose. He knew we would think different. He knew we see things differently. And he knew that we would consider things that men just didn't consider. Three reasons why a woman needs to be coached. Women need to be coached because they need their confidence cultivated, they need their value cultivated, and they need to develop their voice so that they can make a difference and bring cultural change in their sphere of influence. That's it. They just need the cultivation. You heard what I already said. They need their confidence cultivated, they need to recognize their value, and they need to develop the voice that they have. They will bring change. All I got.
Okay, so mind blown. Let me try to put my head back together. That was so right, Kimberly. I'm like you. Boom! Like it was so much in 3.5 seconds. Let's go back. Cultural confidence.
Yeah.
Cultivate and recognize their value, and give them a voice. Tara, I'm just challenge you. For so long, is it your opinion that women have been silenced but expected to still produce?
Absolutely. Look at us. We still go to work and we have to have babies and still keep the home and still keep our husbands happy, or if we have husbands, right? And then we still are expected to help bring in, cook dinners and all of that. Wow. Sometimes some of us can't afford to just be home, so we got to go out to work and bring change there as well. So we are expected to produce, but our voice, I believe, is silenced because it's male dominant. And you already asked me that question when you first proposed it. Male dominant in the sporting arena, in politics, in our churches. That's the most hurtful, in our churches. And even if you look across the board, even at the churches, less than 5% of women are pastors, bishops, archbishops, or whatever their title will be. They want us to teach Sunday school. They want us to be on the choir. They want us to work with hospitality. And they don't, just don't give us enough platform so that we can be pastors and bishops and all of those high-ranking positions.
So much, you guys. You've been given so much in a little bit of time. I mean, from Deneen talking about the piece with, spiritual leaders, to Mark bringing it in for youth development and why parents need to be cautious of how they communicate the development of the leadership for their youth. And then Tara dealing with women in leadership and the impact and what's required. So I'm not even going to add a piece. I'm just going to sum it up because there's nothing else to add. So y'all just going to have to stay tuned for next Tuesday when we come back with the next piece. So you have so much more to expect. Tonight, we want to give you some nuggets that you can apply, that are palpable, that are tangible, and that you can start implementing and using right now. Tara, thank you so much for sharing that. Do you have anything else to add as we get ready to conclude? We'll take a couple of questions and then we'll shut it down. You have anything else to share with us?
Nothing else to add. I hope y'all digging my hat. I had to try it. I've been waiting to wear this hat. I've had it for a couple of months. Thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate you, Kim, Mark. I appreciate you, Chelsea. Love you guys.
Awesome. Tara, go ahead and X out. Stay connected to the session. Leaders that are on the call, we give this next couple of minutes for you. Any questions you have, type them in the chat box. We want to be able to address some of those. Even some of your comments we've captured have been amazing in that. Just amazing comments that you shared, even from some of your own experiences. So I want to thank you guys for connecting and joining with us. Thank you for just being a part of the Boss Nuggets. If you guys have any comments, type them in right now. Summation, Mark hit it with what was going on. Tara came behind it and said, women, you definitely have to have a voice because you are the ones making things happen. You need to cultivate your value and even your confidence. Your strength is powerful. Deneen was like churches and church leaders and ministers and pastors. And even if you're not connected to a church, it doesn't matter. You still need to be mentored and coached to ensure you're on your A game. And coaching gives you accountability. Coaching helps you with clarity. Coaching empowers you. Coaching gives you direction. And it's crazy. And Mark talked about some of his points was, set attainable goals. Use the SMART template. Make sure you speak life. Accountability is amazing and it's so necessary in today's society. Kimberly, you're on it. You're absolutely correct. Accountability is the new truth in today's society. And Kimberly, guess what? Part of the mission statement for the Boss Leadership Institute is accountability and making sure you're authentic. Man, this is so relevant. So Andrea asked a question, team. How should a woman use her voice in a situation of unfairness on the job? Whoa. Let me see if I can swing Tara back in because I want her to address that. Let me add Tara back in to go ahead and address that. Tara, are you queued up? Andrea, stay right there. I'm going to pull that back in, Tara. I want you to go ahead and address Annie if you're available. Let me see if Tara pops back in, you guys, so we can. Oh, you know what? She wants me to do it. Annie, here's what's interesting with that. How should a woman use her voice in a situation of unfairness on the job? One of the key things that I would say is you are going to have to document, because when you document, it is going to be essential that you have relevant facts to refer to as you use your voice. And that's one of the things that most men don't have a problem with. When men in leadership who are boss leaders, sometimes they can say stuff, it don't even make sense, and people will agree to it because they're a male. Women, you always have to sometimes prove yourself to people to show value. So what we want to be able to do is to make sure you have documentation to validate, and your approach is important as well. Let me see, since Tara's asking to bring me back on, let me see if I can add it for you guys, because I want her to be able to add some interesting facts to what's going on. Ken, we might need more than 30 minutes, but this is the nugget piece. So we're going to have to continue next week. So Annie, I hope that helped a little bit. But what we'll be able to do is I'll get with the boss leadership team and we'll be able to send you back some comments that the boss leadership team came up with. We'll post those after we submit this up so that you'll have additional information that could also help you. Listen, boss leaders, we wanted to respect your time. We want to make sure that we let you go because we want to honor your time. But any additional questions you have, send those to us. We will address them. We will answer them. We value you because you matter. Tomorrow, conquer, occupy, dominate, be confident, be self-assured, be reaffirmed, but above all, be prepared. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Have a great night. You matter.